Hello and welcome back to another video. In this problem, we're asked to graph the function by hand, y is equal to 3 minus 2 cosine of x, not by plotting points, but by starting with the graph of one of the standard functions. Here we have y is equal to cosine x, and then applying the appropriate transformations. So we have three transformations here. The first is that we have a 2 coefficient on the function. Therefore, we have a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. Then, we notice that there's a negative sign on that 2, so we have to reflect over the x-axis. If it was cosine of negative x, then we would be reflecting over the y-axis. And then we're adding 3 at the end, right? So if we write this as y equals negative 2 cosine x plus 3, because that sort of reflects the order in which you're going to be doing things, we have to go up 3 units. So I'm going to write these in pencil for the intermediate steps. So first we're going to do a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. So 2, negative 2 for some new values. I think the easiest way to understand this is that these zeros are going to be remaining the exact same, since 2 times 0 is equal to 0. And then this point at 1 becomes 2, so it sort of looks like this, where the zeros are staying the same and then everything else gets stretched around them. So this goes down to negative 2 instead of negative 1. And then goes to 0 again, and then back up to negative 2. And we're going to have a similar thing right here. Next, we have to reflect this stretched out one over the x-axis. So this point at 2 becomes negative 2. Again, the zeros don't change, so we sort of have a similar shape. It's just been flipped, so the negative parts have become the positive parts, and so on. And to avoid any confusion, I'm going to erase this function. Right, I'm going to be erasing them as we go. So we can erase the one that is just a vertical stretch by a factor of 2, which is this function right here, which leaves us with just the original and the function which has been done 2 steps to it. So this function in pencil that we see right here has been vertically stretched by a factor of 2 and reflected over the x-axis. So now we just have to move it up 3 units. So we can just go each point. This point becomes here, and we are going to have to go up further on this axis to 3, 4, 5 is the new maximum, because the old maximum was 2. So we go from negative 2 to 1, 0 to 3, 2 to 5, 0 to 3, and negative 2 to 1. So we sort of get the general shape, and I'll draw this in pen because this is our final function. We sort of get this general shape of the exact same function that we have here, just moved up. And obviously I'm hand drawing it, so the shape isn't perfect, but you get the idea. And then we're going to do a similar thing here, where we move all the points up. So 0 becomes 3, 2 becomes 5, 0 becomes 3, and negative 2 becomes 1. So this also looks a little bit like this. And now we can once again erase the intermediate step. And now we're only left with the original function, which is cosine of x, and this new function, which we've done 3 transformations to it. We have vertically stretched by 2, reflected over the x-axis, and gone up 3 units to give us y is equal to 3 minus 2 cosine of x.